Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome sa regular press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Welcome to our last press briefing in Kalayaan Hall. Starting tomorrow, we will be having our press briefings at the newly refurbished press briefing room in NEB, which will be inaugurated this afternoon. For this morning, we are very proud to have Secretary Silvestre Bello III to share with us matters on wage increase and the Overseas Filipino Bank. Ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, let's all give a warm welcome to Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello. Sir.
Thank you, Sec Ernie. My friends in media. Good morning to all of you. Mayang buntag, naimbag nga bigat yung amin. As stated by Sec Ernie, we will have an OF Bank effective January 2018. If you notice, it's called OF Bank, not an OFW Bank. And the intention here is to cover not only the overseas Filipino workers, but also the overseas Filipinos. Because just like our OFWs, our overseas Filipinos are also contributing a lot to Philippine economy. In fact, they helped in the remittance of not less than $28 billion for the year 2016. Kaya napakalaki ang kanilang tulong, so it's only proper and fair that they be included in this bank that will solely service our OFWs and our overseas Filipinos. Ang composition nito is well, we have since this OF Bank will come about by the purchase of the Philippine Postal Bank by Land Bank, and this will be converted as a subsidiary bank of the Land Bank, and probably, logically, the president of Land Bank will be the chairman of the board of Land Bank, OF Bank. And the president will be nominated by the chairman of the new OF Bank. Ang maganda rito is that 3 members of the board will be nominated by the Secretary of Labor. 1 to represent the Department of Labor, another to represent the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, OWA for short, and the third would be a nominee coming from the ranks of the OFWs. Ito yung mahirap na parte. Lalo-lalo na binigay yung responsibility sa akin na mag-nominate ng isang representative of the OFWs. Siyempre, ang dami niyan. It will be very difficult to choose. So, maybe to lessen the difficulty of nominating representatives from the OFWs, we intend, when I say we, I'm referring to the OFWs, because we are holding in trust about 20 billion pesos for the OFWs, which is deposited both in Land Bank and also in the DBP. Ngayon, by law, we are supposed to give, by the end of this year, a rebate to the OFWs. And we are now in the process of computing how much we will be spending as rebate to our OFWs. Malaki siguro, malaki-laki yan. Let's say 10,000 per OFW, and we are talking of not less than 6 million OFWs, but that's about half, 600 million. So instead of giving it individually to our OFWs, we are thinking of using this amount to buy into the OF Bank, to entitle the OFWs to at least 3 board seats. So magiging 6 yan. Para hindi naman masyadong na napapag-iwanan ang mga OFWs. But this has to be course through, it has to undergo a lot of consultation, especially to the OFWs. Kausapin namin sa kanila how they feel na gagamitin namin yung rebate nila. Instead of giving it to them, ibibili lang namin ang shares sa OF Bank. Para sa ganon, lalaki ang kanilang representation. Medyo gagaan yung aking problema. Instead of nominating 1, I would be nominating 2 to 3 more. Di medyo mas malaking representation nila. Ayun, that's the OF Bank. It was brought about by the executive order of His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte. Ito ay isang pangako na natupad after so many years and so many presidents making the promise. As early as martial law days, itong OFW Bank nakuan na yan, na-conceptualize na yan, naipangako na yan. And now, the OF Bank will become a reality because of the sincere desire of our President to service our OFWs. One point plus kay Presidente yan na may natupad siyang pangako para sa ating OFW. This is in addition to so many promises that he committed to our OFWs na tinupad niya. Hindi empty promises yung binitawan ng ating Pangulo sa mga OFWs. Yung one-stop shop, hindi niya pinangako pero ginawa niya. Yung 72-hour policy, hindi niya pinangako yan. Pero he ordered us to act on all requests, complaints, communications coming from OFWs within 3 days or 72 hours. Ganon kahalaga ng ating mga OFW sa ating Pangulo. So, that's it. That is the OF Bank. If you want to ask questions, we are more than willing to address them.
Rose Novenario.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, ma'am.
Sir, yung Postal Bank, di ba pagmamayari ito ng Philippine Postal Corporation?
Yes.
So, wala naman po itong branch sa ibang mga lugar, maliban po dun sa main branch nila sa Loton. So, paano po ito ma-avail ng OFW family sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas? Sa mga, mga post office po ba, magkakaroon tayo ng mga doon? Yung isang window para sa pera padala, parang sa katulad po ng ibang mga sanglaan, o di ba may mga tie-up po sila sa bangko sa iba't ibang bansa?
Ano? May kibit, sir.
Answer muna natin, sir, yung question niya, then mag-shift na isa.
Maybe you're not aware of this, that there are 116 postal banks throughout the country.
Sa malapit po ito sa mga sa mga post office?
Yeah, no.
Oo, pero parang hindi po aware yung mga OFW na pwede sila magpadala doon?
Yun ang ipapaalam natin sa kanila. Okay. Pag launch nitong bangko ito, merong nationwide projection lahat ng mga bangko. In fact, in my meeting with the President Alex Bellaventura last week, we are already in the process of establishing postal OF bank in all the polo offices all over the world. And medyo makuripot lang si President Ventura, gusto niya libre. Sabi ko, hindi share tayo sa lista. Kasi we are paying for the list of our polo offices, dapat makipag-share siya. But we have to get the clearance from the DFA, from Secretary Cayetano.
So yung OF Bank po, magkakaroon po ito ng tie-up sa mga private banks sa ibang bansa para po mapadali yung remittance ng OFWs?
That is not the plan. The plan is to capture the market of the remittances from abroad exclusively through the OF Bank. So makikinabang talaga dito ay ang OF Bank at ang mapapaboran dito ang ating mga OFWs because the intention is to not only, I don't know if we can afford to have a free remittance, but at least it will be a cheaper remittance fee.
So ano po ito, parang online banking?
It will go to that.
Nasa abroad?
And this will have a tie-up on our idol card.
Idol.
Magagamit yung idol. Pero yung idol, gusto nyo ba i-discuss na yung idol?
Sige po.
Our commitment, the technical working group that we created for the purpose of the idol is committed that they will come up with the implementing guidelines on the idol by the end of next week. And that the idol card will start coming out by the end of October this year. So you will see idol card coming out already October 31.
Para saan po yung idol card?
Para sa mga OFWs.
Ano po yun? Parang membership nila sa OWA or sa...
That card will be the substitute of the OEC. That's the Overseas Employment Certificate. Yan. Alam mo yan ang yung OEC isang mabigat sa ating OFW kasi pag alis nila, kukuha sila ng OEC. Pagbalik nila, kukuha sila ng OEC. Grabe ang pila niyan. At lalong-lalo na, magbayad pa sila. But with this idol card, mere showing of the idol card will already allow them to go abroad and then come back using only this card. And if our plan or our discussion with DFA and other agencies in government like Pag-ibig, SSS, PhilHealth, itong card na ito will also serve as their PhilHealth card, SSS card. So, malaki ang kahulugan nitong card na ito sa ating mga idol. More importantly is yung OEC equivalent of this card.
Okay. Thank you, Rose. May question pa about OF Bank or mag-shift na sa wage issue. Sir, about wage.
Yung wage. Maybe you are asking about this wage increase because of the recent news about the increase of 21 pesos here in Metro Manila. And surprisingly, 40 pesos in my region. So there is a suspicion na parang pinaboran ko ang ang region ko. The increase is extremely high, but that is not actually an increase. It is called wage adjustment. And this is studied, assessed in the region, the economic situation in the region, and the tripartite wage board makes the recommendation. And not only a recommendation, but a decision. So it is not the Department of Labor or the Secretary of Labor who issued the wage adjustment. It is the tripartite board. It is composed of a representative from labor, a representative from the employers or management, and one from Department of Labor. And they come up with an assessment of the respective situation in the different regions, and on the basis of this, they make or they decide on a salary adjustment. Yung salary increases, that is the mandate of Congress. it is only Congress who can increase the salaries of our employees. Hindi ang Department of Labor. Kasi marami nagsasabi na ang kunat ng Department of Labor, bakit hindi tinatasan? It is only Congress who can do that. Of course, we can recommend, but the mandate is with Congress.
Okay, have question about wage? Rose?
Ay, sir, magkano
Ross.
po yung nirekomenda yung wage hike?
Wala pa, hindi pa kami tinatanong eh.
In case po tanungin kayo, magkano po yung i-recommend?
Bakit? Siyempre, tatanungin ko si Secretary Dominguez, tatanungin ko si Secretary Pernia, lahat ng mga ating mga finance advisors na ating Pangulo, tatanungin ko yan. Siyempre, tatanungin din natin ang mga manggagawa ko anong pangangailangan nila. Pero ang hinihingi nila, 1,000 eh. Although, last week we had a discussion na, I was discussing it with my Undersecretary Magluzod. How do you know? How did you guess? They might settle for that, yung proposal na yung 500 pesos subsidy. Oh.
Hindi na po across the board wage
Hindi na yun. Sabi nila, kung hindi ma-afford talaga, siguro we'll settle for yung 500 peso subsidy. Pero kako, kailangan yung TBM ang kausapin natin dyan.
Pag in case po na yung 500 subsidy yung ipopropose nyo, magkano po yung halaga ng pangkalahatang ipagkakaloob ng gobyerno kung sakasakali?
Siyempre, ang magko-compute yan ang DBM.
Sa pag-ano nyo, sir, sa tansya nyo, ilan po yung mga manggagawa sa buong Pilipinas na pwedeng bigyan ng ganyan?
42 million.
42 million times 500 pesos.
Oo.
Ganun.
Malaki yan. Malaki yan.
Okay, question about wage. Other issue. Laila Salaveria.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the President has repeatedly said that he doesn't want to talk to the communist rebels anymore. Have we sent a formal notice to terminate the peace talks?
Not yet, not yet.
Why not, sir?
Well, when the President mentioned about not talking to them, probably our President was referring to the two canceled talks that we were supposed to hold or would have held sometime in June and then in July. If you recall, we were supposed to meet for the 5th round, formal round of talks, June 21. He ordered that canceled for a very good reason. Then we were on our way to a back channel on July 19 for a 2021 back channeling, which again he canceled, and again for a good reason. But that did not mean that the talks were canceled or terminated. And we have been consistently saying that in order to terminate the talks, either of the parties have to serve the party with a written notice of termination. And the termination takes effect 30 days after receipt of that notice of termination.
So you're saying, sir, the pronouncements of the President were just referring to specific meetings,
yes.
not the entire...
Yes, I think so.
So
Because
have you
if you
discussed this
recall,
with
when the President came in as our President, he made a very clear statement that this legacy to our country and our countrymen is a lasting peace for our country. So I don't think that the President has abandoned that legacy.
Sir, have you discussed this with him recently? Kasi he also mentioned recently that maybe it's the next president who could pursue the talks.
I really don't know, basta the talks are alive and we are just waiting for the President to give us the instruction to go back to the peace table.
Thank you.
Okay, no more questions? MPC? Okay. Thank you, Presidential, DOLE Secretary, Silvestre Bello
Debot na lang.
III, Presidential Spokesperson, Ernesto Abella. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. A bit of fresh perspective. The World Bank cites countries' migrant worker support system. The concern of our OFWs remains as one of the priorities of the Duterte administration, and the World Bank, in its report entitled Migrating to Opportunity, mentioned that the Philippines has a good support system for migrant workers with the Department of Labor and Employment, Philippine Overseas Employment Agency, POEA, and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, OWWA, having clearly defined institutional responsibilities. In addition, the World Bank cited that in the Philippines, attendance in orientation seminars is required before receiving a license and for renewal of license. World Bank also stated that the country has made it easier for migrant workers to find jobs abroad through the department's effort of listing job opportunities. There are two memoranda from the Executive Secretary. To Undersecretary Hermenegildo Valle, Department of Health, designation as officer in charge of the Department of Health. Under the instruction of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and to ensure the continuous and effective delivery of public service, please be informed that you are hereby designated as officer in charge of the Department of Health effective immediately. For your information and guidance by authority of the President, signed, Salvador Medialdea. Hermenegildo V. Valle. Yusek po siya. Ang pangalawa, to Undersecretary Eliseo Mijares Rio, Jr., Department of Information and Communications Technology. Designation as officer in charge of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, 10 October 2017, as also the other one, 10th of October. Upon the instruction of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and to ensure the continuous and effective delivery of public service, please be informed that you are hereby designated as officer in charge of the Department of Information and Communications Technology effective immediately. For your information, guidance, signed by authority of President Salvador Medialdea. So that's Undersecretary Hermenegildo B. Valle and Undersecretary Eliseo Mijares Rio, Jr. Come again? ERC, no comments about ERC. Okay. We're open to a few questions.
Okay, questions on PC?
All right.
O Mindanao Hour.
Data as of Wednesday, 11th of October. Enemies neutralized 811 or plus 9. Civilians killed 47. Civilians rescued, no change, 1,750. Firearms recovered 829 plus 2. Unexploded ordnance recovered 40. Improvised explosive device IED recovered 4, killed in action 160, buildings cleared 37. Cash donations as of 3 p.m. 11th of October 2017 for the Marawi AFP casualties, 102,607,969.03, and for internally displaced persons, 1,136,595.
Okay, questions? No more? Other issue? Okay, Joseph Moro.
Sir, pang backup lang for later. Sir, yung pong order kahapon sa PIDEA will be the lead. Does that mean, sir, that we are calling off the Oplantok and we are canceling that campaign?
Ang nangyari po dito is that na maging ano siya, that PIDEA becomes a sole agency to conduct the anti-drug operations, all right? So, ang nangyari po, na-degrade yung street distribution networks ng mga drug lords, so we now target higher echelons of the syndicates as well as their protectors in government. PIDEA will now bring policy focus, expert performance standards, high-level coordination and oversight, and centralized intelligence collection to the war on drugs. PIDEA will also lead in establishing a broad anti-drug coalition working with agencies, LGU, civil society, the church, business, academia, and media to push prevention and rehabilitation initiatives. Regarding high court petitions, we welcome this opportunity to present the legal and policy basis for the nation's war on drugs. So, in other words, there is now an elevation of the campaign against illegal drugs, and PDEA has now widened its scope. Thank you.
What, in an operational sense, sir, will we still see mga policemen doing the rounds in areas of the
I
Philippines?
believe that the lead agency will be PDEA, and I believe, as far as his comment was, they will be the ones solely solely operating.
So there should be no more mga nangangatok na mga police.
As far as we understand it, PDEA will be in charge.
Is this, sir, an admission that there was maybe some failure on the part of
Sir,
PNP?
I believe this has been subject to. It's not a question of failure; it's a question of more effectivity, optimizing the efforts, and widening the scope of responsibility.
Sir,
Okay.
thank you.
Ina Andalong, CNN Philippines.
Sir, you mentioned that there's been na-degrade na yung
A degrading of the street distribution networks.
distribution. Does this mean that the president is satisfied with the results
There's a
already of the PNP operations?
I believe satisfaction, but it should be that we should be drug-free. On the other hand, it means that there's been substantial advances in addressing the street distribution. So now it's time to upgrade not upgrade, but to bring the campaign to focus on the higher echelons of the drug trade.
Sir, does the directive have anything to do with the president's recent pronouncements that there are about 9,000 policemen involved in the illegal drug trade?
I'm sure that there are certain factors there. And so he at this stage, the president feels that has made an informed decision to empower PDEA to do so.
Thank you.
Follow-up, Alayla Salaveria.
Good morning.
Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
what's the basis of the assessment that the distribution networks have been degraded? Was there a PNP report on this, or statistics, findings?
I'm sure there's a background. Based on results, they have come to this conclusion that there is a substantial degradation of the street networks.
Sir, which results are these? Are these the 3,800 killed in drug operations?
I believe it's not so much. I think that's framing it in a negative way. It's simply, I believe it. There are other factors. There are other indicators in making sure, like for example, higher drug prices. So that indicates also that there has been it's being addressed. Not totally, but it's being addressed.
Joseph, no more. Other issue?
Okay.
Drugs. JP, Bencito, question?
Hi, Spokes. Good morning po.
Yes,
Sir, can we get a reaction of the palace on the impeachment complaint, or rather, the impeachment of Comelec Chairman Bautista?
Well, Congress shall decide on what to do, with this impeachment in view of his resignation. We acknowledge the services of the chairman, and after his successor is named, we look forward to a smooth transition and preparations for barangay and SK elections next year, and midterm polls and possible BBL and charter change plebiscites in 2019. So basically, we have no comment regarding that.
Sir, we'd just like to get your opinion because apparently the chairman resigned yesterday, but it seems that later today, bigla siya na-impeach. Sir, do you think Congress still has time to push for the impeachment complaint? Also, won't this impeachment be a hindrance to the priority bills of the administration?
Sir, we don't have any. That's beyond our purview. That belongs to the Congress to decide on.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC, okay na? No more questions? Okay, thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.